So following on from yesterday's incoherent round with Poldark's Christian Brassington, I've got him back on now to talk a bit about how he's getting on in isolation.
I'm all right, really. This past week or so has been better than the first phase. Like the first phase was crazy, really. I got back from Los Angeles, and as we turned our phones when we landed at Heathrow, we got the message saying the US had stopped all flights. And so it was just a very unusual time, and I think I just sort of didn't really get out of the jet lag pattern for ages, so it was a bit of a shambles, to be honest. But since then, it's been getting back into a bit of a routine. It's been better. I've been sort of strangely busy, doing this, and I was on the sort of the BBC News, and I've been reading kids' books with people, and I've had a couple of self-tapes where you tape your own audition, which is a regular thing to send over to Los Angeles or New York, wherever it is, and sometimes in the UK as well. And I've had a couple of those coming over, which is great because it means that you have got something to do, something to occupy your days. And also, it means that you still kind of feel like there's an industry out there. So it's a weird job in that you spend sort of long periods of time and by yourself, not as isolated as this, but without necessarily feeling part of the industry, and then you're in the sort of eye of the storm for a bit, and then you drift away again. So that's quite reassuring to know that things are still going ahead and TV series are still planning to be made, because everything stopped for the time being. Everything, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, totally. It's to be honest, I wasn't actually too sure about how kind of TV stuff was going. It's good to know things are still going forward strongly. I mean, I've seen some things have been, like, productions have been stopped, but I'm guessing they've all into kind of maybe pre-production for newer things. Maybe is that the case?
I think so. I think that some things have already been greenlit, so they're going to sort of go ahead. It's a really strange situation. I think everything in development has just sort of stopped. I'm supposed to be writing a script, which I should be doing more of now that I've got no excuse other than to sit inside. But that kind of stuff is all going to take a lot longer. But it's strange. So the TV series that have been greenlit, I mean, it might be slightly optimistic, but they're looking to film this year in various places around the world still.
Oh, brilliant.
I've got a TV series which is in post-production, which I'm guessing they haven't finished in time.
Right.
Because we finished shooting it towards the end of last year, towards the end of 2019, and they've been editing it, but maybe they just couldn't get it done in time for this to happen, because I'm not sure what's happened with that. It's weird, isn't it? It's like a guillotine coming down and everything just gets sort of stopped where it was, I guess.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for most walks of life. For me, on the music side, yeah, it's pretty much the same kind of thing, really. And it's
all those gigs and just
right. It's everything's just literally just stopped. And then I guess the main thing to do is just hoping things resume pretty soon, really. Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like you're staying productive. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could be more productive. I'm obviously giving a sort of slightly polished account because I'm doing this. There's been lots of gaming and far too much staring at social media, which I'm trying to sort of cut down on a bit. But yeah, it's good. I think that I've noticed the difference when you do get out and do your state-sanctioned bit of exercise, and when you do sit down and do a bit of writing and a bit of work. I think it sort of helps your headspace a bit to do that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to try and crack on with that. Really, it's strange. Really, it's not hugely different to your normal everyday life. It's just that I normally go and write in certain places, sort of places that I'm members of, so I can go. Feels like I'm going to work. So it's just stuff around it. Really, I miss the pub. Miss the pub. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't we all? So, is there any projects that you can talk about, or is it fully lip sealed for the time being?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a sitcom for the BBC called Semi-Detached, which has got Lee Mack in it, and Sam Spiro, and Eddie White, and Patrick Ballard. It's just a great cast. Loads of other people I'll be in trouble for forgetting there. And that was good fun. We did that last year, so that's coming out sometime. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but soon. And then
this is the one that's in pre-production. You said.
Sorry.
This is the one that's in post-production. You were mentioning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was in the edit. I've done my my ADR for it. The post-production where you go in and redo any lines that you might have messed up or they didn't quite pick up.
Always a fun part.
Huh?
Always a fun part.
Always a fun part. Yeah, having to watch yourself and try and remember what you were doing at the time. Yeah, it's a tricky skill. And then I've got got a couple of small bits in a couple of films that are coming out, which are lovely to do. Sort of big movies. It's always nice to be on a big movie set.
For sure.
But I don't know if that will have been too affected by this because they were only sort of editing, so that takes an awfully long time. But I mean, all the movies have been pushed back so much. I mean, Bond was so far ahead of the curve, but everything's been pushed back. Really, unless they're doing that direct to iTunes thing.
Oh, what's that?
So we watched the Invisible Man, which was supposed to be in the cinemas with Elizabeth Moss. Okay. They released it. They're releasing them sort of early to download, I guess, to try and recoup some of the cinema revenue that's going to be lost through them. So it's slightly more expensive than buying or renting a movie.
Okay.
But it means that it's still cheaper than 2 cinema tickets.
Fair enough. No, I've not seen that. I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah, good fun.
So I've seen a couple of your readings of the children's books online.
Yeah.
Do you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, really. And all I do is play, sort of villains and baddies on telly. And then there's a chap called Dan Brownlee, and he manages Basingstoke Town Football Club, which is a town that I grew up in. And he has set up this page called The Kids Lockdown on Facebook. And I think it's basically to just give stressed out homeschooling parents or parents whose that sort of nursery comfort blanket has been whipped from underneath them, to give them a little bit of a break. So they've got, I'm reading a few stories, there's another actor called Hannah reading a few stories on there as well. They've got some sort of musical theatre people singing Disney songs, doing sort of sing-alongs like that. Apparently they've got a maths teacher who makes maths fun, which I don't believe, but no left. And they've got a kids DJ sort of on Friday nights. I think you could do a bit of that. That'd be good.
Always game.
And they've got, I think next week the week after, they've got Actual Father Christmas coming on.
Actual Father Christmas.
Actual Father Christmas. Apparently he's the one.
Straight from the North Pole.
Hey.
Straight from the North Pole.
Straight from the North Pole. So he asked me to do that, and I sort of happily obliged and dug out a book which Elise Chappell, who plays Morwenna in Poldark, got me when we finished filming. Sort of, she bought me some presents, and one of them was this kids' book that she really loves. And so I read that, and people seem to really like it. And then I had like journalists getting in touch and went on the news to talk about it. So listen, if it's it's giving parents a break, if the kids like it, then great. It's not something I imagined I'd be doing, but
no,
happy to do it if I can help out a bit.
Sure, it was brilliant. I enjoyed actually having a listen to them myself. Actually, as I mentioned,
good. All ages. Yeah, I've had a few grown-ups get in touch, say, "Oh yeah, I love that."
Yeah. So have you got more coming of those?
Hey,
have you got more of those coming?
Yeah. So I've got another. Well, I think it's going to be Mondays, but I mean, I'm very much sort of around really, so we can do as many or as few as people want. But at the moment, it's on Monday evenings at 6:30. We're doing it.
Oh, so it's every week. That's cool. That's good. I'll be waiting next Monday, definitely.
Good. Thanks, man.